Hey, Shalom, Shalom. I want to start off souls by giving a praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kodash. Double honors the apostles of great millstone, and honors to you brothers doing the work of the most in truth and in sincerity. Yahweh's real name, of whom the word ignorant calls God, Jehovah Yahweh. His real name is Yahweh, and his son's true name is Yahweh Shai. And when we pray Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, both meaning in, her meaning the, and Sham meaning names, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai. This one's inspired by Apostle Gabar's video. Daily edification for sufferings. Take off the rose-colored glasses and see the truth for what it really is. Right, and then he starts speaking about, you get these other groups that want to talk about, just and only talk about, how the niceties of the scriptures, right? Because hey, it is good, especially for Jake coming in. You come into this truth, you find out that, hey, you're gonna have superpowers, you're gonna have the women, you're gonna have you're gonna have all the all the riches and all in righteousness, which a lot of the time, Jake, when they first hear, right, they just care about the fact they're gonna get the women, right? Not even the fact that it's gonna be get the women in righteousness, right? That we're going to get the power and righteousness. We're going to have rule over, these heathens in righteousness, right? But over here at Great Millstone, the Lord put the Spirit on our apostles to constantly remind us of what the scriptures say, that yes, those things will come, right? But between now and then, certain things are gonna happen. I'm actually going to start off with this one, right? It says Acts 14, point of 1 is in 22, but I was reading up, what do you call it? I was putting a lesson together, and I was like, it's a nice place to start also, right? It says Acts 14:19 says, and they came thither, certain Jews from Antioch and Iconium, who persuaded the people, and having stoned Paul, drew him out of the city, supposing he had been dead, right? So this was what Paul went through. Paul went through stonings. When the apostle Gabar went into the different accounts that Paul went through, the fact that he was just catching hell, right? He had a thorn in his side. He was shipwrecked. He got bit by a venomous snake, right? But in all of those instances, guess what? Yeah, Bashim Yahshua delivered him, right? And then at the end, Paul had to lay down his life. But when you read the scriptures, one that always comes to mind first on this topic is Wisdom, the 3rd chapter, where it goes into how death is basically nothing, right? Just because we died doesn't mean just because we may die doesn't mean that we're wicked or anything like that, or if that is dying according to this truth, right? Because scriptures speak about not suffering as an evildoer, right? So let's carry on. It says, howbeit, as the disciples stood round about him, he rose up and came into the city, and the next day he departed with Barnabas to Derbe, right? And when they had preached the gospel to that city, right, and had taught many, right, because this thing ultimately is about teaching. The scriptures say, let all things be done unto edification, right? Which but one of the things we do before we do these videos, put out the prayers, laws will this is edifying, laws will edify someone. And once again, something Apostle Bar does a lot at the end of his videos, like, let me know if this video was edifying, right? It says, and had taught many. He says they returned again to Lystra and to Iconium and to Antioch, right? So confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of the Most High, right? So to get into the kingdom, we're gonna need to be tried, right? And different precepts that come to mind. This is Sirach, the 2nd chapter. Also want to get a similar account, right, with the apostles, right, where basically they had been what you call, and they had basically gone through something, right? So it's Acts 5, I'm just jump straight to the point, right? 5:40 says, and to him they agreed, and when they had called the apostles and beaten them, right? So here it is, right? They've just agreed that actually, to let these men alone, right? To let the apostles alone, right? The wicked, these wicked Israelites still beat them, right? It says they commanded that they should not speak in the name of Yahushua and let them go, right? So why were they persecuted? Why were they beaten? Right? They were beaten because they were professing the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua and everything that that represents, right? They're prophesying the downfall of the Roman kingdom eventually, right? Which is we're witnessing that, in this life, while we're witnessing the fact that these different heathen kingdoms in general, because when you're saying the kingdom of Israel is at hand, you're saying all of these heathen kingdoms are gonna come to an end, right? So that is what speaking, that's one of the things, right? Slovakia, right? So they weren't beaten because they were, being, wicked or being worldly. No, they're all beaten because they were speaking the name of Yahweh Shai, right? And it goes on to say, and they departed from the presence of the council, rejoicing that they were counted worthy to suffer shame for his name, right? So that's the kind of spirit that we are gonna have to adopt, right? We're gonna have to make sure that we have, right, to rejoice at the fact that we're gonna suffer, right, for being, but you know, so like let me rephrase. I got my mind in a twist, right? That we know that we must rejoice, knowing that we are counted worthy to suffer shame for Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, right? Because it's gonna come, right? So we might as well embrace it, right? And not, what do you call it? Not be offended. Um, this is Matthew 11 and 16, right? 6, like it says, and blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me, right? And that's it. We mustn't needs be offended by these scriptures. So guess what? When those questions get asked of us, when this devil starts coming down like a flood, right? Guess what? We have to hold truth. Where we have to say, yeah, that's what I believe. So it is what it is, right? This is Matthew 10 from 16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves, but beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues, right? So that's it. We're going to be delivered up to these people, and when those questions are asked, the men of the Lord aren't gonna try shy away, be like, oh no, actually the scriptures don't say that. The scriptures say this, just like how these other camps try and shy away from the bitterness of the scriptures. Once again, the apostles did a series years ago called the nastiness of the scriptures, right? Because at the end of the day, we're here to defend the gospel. Just because this world doesn't adhere to this, to the laws of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, doesn't make the gospels wicked, right? Scripture says, oh, it just escaped me. Yeah, well, what I want to say escaped me, but scriptures say that they hate the evil and love the good. That's these people, man. Right? And what's good? These scriptures, right? The laws, statutes, and commandments. Those are good, right? It says, and ye shall be, verse 18. It says, and ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles, right? So this doesn't sound like fun. All right, this doesn't sound like something. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna go get interrogated by, Congress. Right? Yeah, they're gonna, buffet me up, call me all kinds of names. Yeah, it sounds like a fun day out. Right? No, right? But the joy, once again, is being counted worthy, right? Knowing that we've been counted worthy to suffer shame for the name of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, right? But in terms of the beauty that these different groups like to broadcast, it ain't so. It ain't that, right? It says, but when they deliver you up, take no thought how or what ye shall speak, for it shall be given you in that same hour what ye shall speak, right? So, this is going into how, just rolling in the spirit, right? And trusting in the Lord. And what's this saying as well? This verse as well is even going into the fact that it's going to be the Lord that is going to deliver us out of that situation. Lord's like, look, I'm going to put you there. But if you have faith, guess what? I'm going to take you out. Don't just see whether you got it, right? That's basically what we're reading, right? And that's what it says here in Revelation 2 and 25. I'll read from 25. What was it, 26? But that which ye have already hold fast till I come, and let's see scriptures, right? It says, and he that overcometh, right, and overcomes what? All these trials and tribulation, right? Those that the Lord has put the Spirit in to overcome, the different things that we're gonna go through in these last days, right? It says, and keepeth my works unto the end. To him will I give power over the nations. So there's a reward, right? The crowning, right? The power, right? The prestige, that all comes after the tribulation. That all comes after the trying, right? This is Revelation 10 and 9. So what I originally had wanted to start off with. Where it says, and I went unto the angel and said unto him, so like, give me the little book. And he said unto me, take it and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. And that's what this truth is, right? Once again, when you first come in, you hear, you're better than these different heathens, right? You hear that contrary to what Esau likes to push, we ain't good for nothing, right? You hear that you can once again you go and get the women, you go and get the gold and the chains and the chariots, you're gonna be living large. But then you start catching the hell. Then you start being, humiliated. Because what's one of the things Scripture says, the greater thou art, the more thou humble thyself, right? And as the apostle broken down before, right, it's the Lord ultimately that's humbling you, right? You hear Jake, out there on the streets, they'll be like, yeah, me, you see me, I'm humble, right? Which obviously, there is a certain level of conscious effort, right, to not just be, out there on the streets, just, being, proud as hell. Obviously, it's a conscious effort to, try and keep yourself, right, as humble as you can. However, those ultimate humiliations come from the Lord. That ultimate humbling comes from the Lord, right? What else have we got? This is Sirach, the second chapter. Just loaded it up a couple of minutes ago, right? It says, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thyself for temptation, right? Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, right? And this isn't saying like endure once and then you're good. No, it's saying constantly endure, right? And brothers, I've only been in this thing a short time, right? But in the time that I have been, right, what is evident is, one day, right, it's this particular thing that's a demon, right? Catching hell from this place. Then guess what? That place clears up, and all of a sudden, now you're getting hell from another place, right? Because this is a thing about constant endurance, right? It's a thing about overcoming these fights and overcoming this world, right? It says, and make not haste in time of trouble, right? So always remembering where our salvation is, always remembering to pray to the Lord to get us out of those situations, right? Always praying to the Lord to keep us going strong, right? Because this is the calm before the storm. Yeah, certain things happen here and there, but ultimately this is the calm before the storm, right? Because what's about to happen, man, this devil's about to really open his what's the word I'm looking for? This devil's about to really open up, man. Right? You read Ezekiel, the 21st chapter from the 9th verse, speaks about a sword. A sword is sharpened, right? And also furbished, right? And that word there, furbish, goes into polish. And I kind of look at that as, someone polishing his skills, right? But this man is his weapon is the sword, and he's been polishing it. He's been perfecting it, right? This is verse 3 now, right? It says, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end, right? So guess what? In the current situation, right? In the current times, yeah, we'll have updates. No one is denying that we will have up days, right? We will see certain things and go through certain things that bring us great joy, right? Like knowing this man's kingdom is going down, that gives us great joy. Watching as the economy falters and this and that gives us great joy. Being with the Archean, that gives us great joys, right? And certain things in between, right? Personal things that are that not being in this truth, you would have never done. You would never experienced those things, but being in this truth, right? Being in the mindset that we're in, right, has allowed you to experience those things, right? Yeah, you're gonna have the good days, but go on catch hell. All of the, let's say you have, a good day a week. Guess what? The other 6 days you're catching hell. Just as saying as a figure of speech, right? Because this is it's the thing. It's just what we signed up for, man. You know, I'm just repeating myself now, so I'll just carry on. Right, with verse 3 it says, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully. Right? Why take cheerfully? And Micah 7:9, I will bear the indignation of the Lord, for I've sinned against him. And even that is beautiful, right? That is a weight of our shoulder, because you catch hell, right? And because that's the thing, it's the not knowing, right? You might go through, pain, might lose a loved one, right? And then but if this was in the world, you'd be like, oh, why is this happening to me? Like, you might lose everything, right? In like a week, you might be like, oh, why is this happening to me? But in this truth, hey, you might lose everything in a week, and guess what? Right, the spirit of the Lord, right? You just gonna be like, you're not saying you ain't gonna feel something. Of course you're gonna feel something. We're in this flesh. But the Spirit of the Lord's gonna be on you, where it's just there like, well, look, the only thing I deserve is death. Right? Pursuant to the scriptures, all of sin and come short with the glory of the Most High, and the wages of sin is death. Right? So knowing those things is a weight off of our shoulders. Knowing that, what happens when you die, right? Scriptures say, as Isaiah 33:6, knowledge and wisdom is the stability of thy times. So being stable-minded when we go through things, right? That actually, this is just a test. And also, the scripture says, I will not give thee more than that thou can handle, right? So knowing that as well is a comfort, because it's just there like, well, if the Lord's putting me through this, then he must know that I can handle it, right? So it says, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art brought to a low estate. For gold is tried in the fire, and the acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in him. because the Lord is looking for that faith. He's looking for people who look to it. As Hebrews 11:6 says, but without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to the Most High must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. Right? So faith, belief, right, to get us up out of the different, trials and tribulations that we'll go through, right? But we will go through them. But guess what? Yahweh Shem Shai, right, has his holy angels by our sides, right, to be with us, whilst we go, through things. It says Matthew. Where is it? I'm pretty sure it is that, isn't it? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I don't know what type before. The end of this is Matthew 28:20, teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I command you, and lo, I am with you always, even to the end of the world. Amen. Right. See how shy, right? The holy, the holy angels. We're not alone, right? We're not alone. Is the point I'm trying to make? We're not alone. When we go through these things, yeah, sometimes it may feel like it. I forgot the way Apostle Gabar phrased it. He did a video, something like lonely but not alone, or the other way around. Right? Basically, you got the feeling, you physically, you're might be on your lonesome, whatever have you, but spiritually, right? You have, we all have, the holy angels around. Okay, so yeah, that's it, man. Yeah, it may um uh these other camps speak on the whole, just the good stuff, but hey, the bad stuff is part of the scriptures too, right? And we must needs have our minds prepared. So as always, Lord's with us, edifying. Till next time we say Shalom.